people don't realize that the way that we talk to ourselves is so detrimental to the way that we look and the way that we feel about ourselves.
Mm,
And so let's say that you are really like you're just talking very negatively to yourself all day every day. 90% of our thoughts are the same every single day. So if we're just constantly in that negative thought pattern, we're not going to feel good. And those negative words are that are coming into our brain and our thought space every single day, like our body is going to be like try is going to protect our organs, what we need to function, the only way that it can, which is by putting a layer of fat around our body to protect our organs from the negativity that we're speaking.
wait, did I freeze?
Yeah.
We froze. I don't know if we're like frozen. Okay, there
Oh,
we
there we go. Okay.
go.
I'm done.
Welcome
Uh,
to the podcast, Michaela.
Thank you so much. It's so exciting to be here. Happy we connected and excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, me too. So before this started, we you were talking about how you were just in a meditation for about 50 minutes,
Yes.
and you said that you guide yourself. What is that like?
Yes. Well, so I do every single morning an energy clearing and energy boosting meditation. This is you're just going like straight into the good stuff here. So I do an energy clearing, energy boosting meditation that also cuts the cords of anyone that I am corded into or that is corded into me. I also cleanse and clear and energize all of my chakras. And I also clear any negativity that is in my aura or that is surrounding my aura or that is trying to attack me in a negative way. And what else do I do? Oh, I also take the time to visualize my like the life that I desire to live every single day. So sometimes that takes a lot of time and I have a lot to visualize and a lot to like kind of think through. And sometimes I can go from like literally this day to like 10 years from now. And yeah, so sometimes it takes a little longer, but and then that's kind of what happened today.
That's beautiful. When did you start this practice?
I've been meditating for about 2 years now, but I started off with the app with like guided meditations, and then I went into like YouTube videos. And then I started working with a mentor, and she gave, well, I took a course, and this course had these meditations, and she was like, take these meditations and listen to the recording over and over and over again each day. And eventually you're going to remember it. You're going to be able to do it in 5 minutes. So I can do it in 5 minutes. And I'd rather just like sit and enjoy and go through the process and like sit in my silence. And if I have the time to do it, that's what I'm going to do. But like that's how I learned, was just literally by practicing and having no excuse as to making that time for myself every single morning.
I love meditation also because the more that I sit in that energy, it feels like this energy of unconditional love, the more that
Mm,
it lingers with me and stays with me throughout my day.
hmm Absolutely. When you take the time to, like, my morning routine is, it has to happen. Like, it sets the tone for your entire day. And I'll give you an example of what that looks like for me. So I wake up and it used to be so hard for me to get out of bed. So if you don't know the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 blast off, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I'm totally, what, I'm sorry.
Mel Robinson,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
I got that from her, and I swear it works. Like, works so well. So I just count down from 5, get out of bed, brush my teeth, splash water on my face, drink a glass of water. I'll get dressed for the gym, but then I'll do my meditation, and like I'll make my bed and then I'll sit on it and like do my meditation practice. and then I won't look at my phone. Like that's the hardest thing because we are all so like wrapped up in social media world and checking emails and checking texts and checking who called us overnight or whatever the case may be. But the reality of it is that when you take time for yourself and you don't let that external thing, your phone and all of those people and those emails like become first, like you're literally putting them before you.
Mhm.
So like taking the morning to put yourself first is so beneficial for your life. So I'll leave my phone away, do my meditation practice, go to the gym, and then when I'm at the gym or when I'm done with my meditation, I'll like take the time to check my phone. But I try and stay away from my emails because those will take forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that too. I try to avoid looking at my phone because I know once I do, then it like becomes like me thinking more about my phone and responding to people, and I can get easily sucked into it for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if this is because over the past year I've been creating a lot of social media content, but I just feel so overwhelmed with all the information that's out there. Like information there's just so many books and there's so many podcasts and there's so much on social media and I'm like I just don't want any more information.
I completely understand where you're coming from with that. And it is easy to become like the consumer. But
Yeah.
when I mean when you're a creator, so you're in it more. So there I used to feel the same way, like it's very overwhelming, but the way that I've like fixed or like not fixed it, like sometimes it still gets overwhelming for me as well,
Yeah.
but I really focus on my like what I'm doing. I stay in my lane.
Yeah.
So I'll like post and then I'll get off. Or I'll like post and then I'll get on the other platform and like post on the other platform. And then like I'll just go through my platforms, but then like get off. And I do my best to not be such a consumer and like let like the scrolling happen. And I have my set people or set like podcasts, that I listen to and like stick with those. That way I don't get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And yeah, but like that's how I kind of like steer away from that. And then just one thing at a time, like
Yeah.
one book at a time, one YouTube video at a time. Like, don't try not to like overwhelm yourself with, oh, I need to do all these things and I need to learn all of these things all at once. Just like do your best to, if you need to make a list and just go down the list and don't be so like scattered.
Yeah.
It'll help. So I wanted to ask you what your YouTube channel is all about? Like, it seems like you have a lot. Like, what made you get into spirituality?
Ooh, where do I start? So I've been really diving deep into my spiritual journey for about 5 or 6 years now. And it began with just curiosity. I wasn't really on social media. Like I had my personal accounts, but it wasn't like specifically for spirituality. So I was just exploring cacao ceremonies and tarot cards, oracle cards, going on retreats, doing a lot of yoga and practicing. I started practicing about 2 hours a day and noticing like that body and mind connection. And really it has felt like this combination of self-development and this spiritual journey. So then eventually I got into shuffle dancing and I had an Instagram account all about dancing. Like I still have it, San Diego Shuffle Girl. And it just wasn't hitting the spot. Like there was just something that felt like was missing from it. And ultimately, I knew that I really wanted to create an account about spirituality, but I was so scared of what people were going to think of me because my beliefs are like they're really really deep, like they're really rooted in like we have spirit guides and angels and psychics and mediums and like we can create the life and the reality we want to as long as we believe it and as long as we like don't live by our fears. And so it got to the point where I was just so uncomfortable and I was like I have to do this. So I started Perspective Switch in June 2022, And it first started with me talking about spirituality, talking about the chakras, talking about oracle cards, setting intentions. And I started recording a few podcasts with people, and I realized that I loved doing that. So it got to the point where I was like, I'm just going to focus on podcasting and I'm just going to meet a ton of people, network, and enjoy this process. And along the way, learn video editing. Um, and
I
that's
love that.
honestly, that is where I am right now, just enjoying the journey of meeting people and learning about spirituality through like these conversations that I get to record and I get to edit and I get to repurpose.
Yeah, that's amazing. That was literally your soul being like, you're not in alignment. Your higher self was like giving you these signals and these signs to that you weren't in alignment, that you needed to be doing something in spirituality and following your path and sharing this your views with others because I totally like this is you're the second person that has said something about being scared to come out of it was called the woo closet. I was dying
Yeah.
laughing. And for me, I was like I was like I'm a intuitive spiritual healer. Like I am a medium. I can read your mind. I can like all these things. And I was just like, this is what I do. I'm gonna change your life. Work with me. And it's all happened really fast.
Yeah.
But I am convinced also that it's because I have worked with a mentor and I work with her one on one. And I'm also in a community of people that are also have the same views as you and I.
Yeah.
And so that will make a huge difference. But it's a beautiful, beautiful thing that you have literally you created that on your own. Like that's huge. And then you
Yeah.
just met people along the way.
I have met so many people in my life, and there have been so many times where I'm like, this conversation's so cool. I wish I could share it with the world. So it's just
Mm,
like, that's what I'm doing. Actually, I just remembered what really inspired this was this series on Gaia. Do you know what Gaia is? It's
mm-mm.
it's like a TV platform that's specific to spirituality. And there was this one series, I think it's called ETs with Ed, and he
Okay.
travels around the world and he interviews people who can channel ETs specifically. And I remember watching the show being like, I want to do that. And it took me about 2 years to actually like start my YouTube channel, and then it took me a little more time to be like, okay, like now I can do podcasting. And it's just like one step at a time to build up the confidence to like do the thing that your heart really wants to do.
Yeah, absolutely. But you did it. You built that confidence. That's amazing.
When do you feel like you connected with your higher self for the first time? Like you consciously connected with it?
So we all can connect to our higher self. We all can connect to our intuition. It's just like a muscle that you have to build, right? You can't just go to the gym and work out and lift a 300-pound dumbbell or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You have to like build up those muscles and build that strength. It's the same thing with your intuition and with connecting. So I've always been very intuitive and I've always had this like inner knowing of I just know things like and it's unexplainable, which is exactly what intuition is. It's like it defies all logic. So sometimes you get, you know, you channel things which I didn't know what the word what for it was, but it's you channel things and then you're like, "Oh, I think this is probably just this is what's going to happen." And like you didn't know I didn't know like what I how I knew that and then it would happen and I'd be like, "That's weird." But so I mean, I've always like ever since I was younger, I always had that like inner knowing and I could always feel people's energies like really strongly. And I was always told growing up that I'm like a chameleon. So like I fit into whatever like room I'm in and I can shift my energy very easily. And that's because I can read a room really easily. And I was also in the service industry since I was like 16. So, and like and I was really good at it. I was really good at reading tables, really good at bartending, and talking to people. And so, because I was really good at connecting with them, with their energy, with their higher self, knowing what they needed to hear, because being a bartender is like being a therapist sometimes. And so I was like doing this work years for years without even knowing it. And just thinking that it was like everybody could do this. Like
Yeah.
um and then I think when I really like started to connect, honestly, when I really started to learn more about it was when I was actually wrote an email to my newsletter, like to my people about this because I was kind of trying to think and figure this out as well. But last year for me was pretty rough, and I moved a total of 6 times. I wasn't like, and my income significantly decreased. I was super stressed out. I was super depressed, super anxious. I got my heart broken. I my like what I was doing for work, like I hated it, which is why my income was depleting because it was network marketing. And it was just like, I was like, I just didn't feel like aligned, kind of like how you were saying with your shuffling. Like I was like, I knew what I was doing wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. I knew I was supposed to be doing something else. I had turned 30 and I just felt very like lost, and I was letting the outside, what society thought was should be what my life looked like. I was just letting that get to me. Um and I was just really sad and depressed. And then I got my heart broken, and I had nowhere to live, and I had to figure out where to live. I had to figure out what I was going to do for work. I felt like my entire life blew up. And they say when you have like an awakening, that your whole life just blows up. Okay, well, that's definitely what happened. Basically, my life blew up in front of my eyes, and I had to put myself back together. And there was a night where I was scrolling through TikTok, which I never did. And for some reason, I was just like bored, feeling sorry for myself in bed. And I'm like scrolling through TikTok, and I see this woman on TikTok, and I'm like, huh, and like resonating with her whole story and the way that she became an intuitive, or the way she figured out that she was an intuitive energetic healer. And I was like resonating with her story. And then was like, something inside of me, my inner knowing, my intuition was like, yo, you need to reach out to this chick. And that was like my higher self. And so I think that that was like the connection. Like that was like, it definitely probably wasn't the first, but I want to say that it was the most significant connection to my higher self, because that me reaching out to that girl, that woman, me finding her website, purchasing a course that she put out, figuring out a way to work with her one on one, and like where I am at now. Like, if it wasn't for me seeing that TikTok, I wouldn't be who I am. Like, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. So, that would be the most significant time.
When I scroll through social media, there's some people that I really resonate with. I'm like, wow, I love everything they're saying. And then there's other people that I'm like, oh, I'm just not feeling it. And I think it's so valuable for people to know that it is important to pay attention to the people that you resonate with.
100%. And then to unfollow the ones that you don't. Like,
Yeah.
being triggered is like a good thing, like, because when you're triggered, it's a reflection of you, and why does this bother me so much? Is this something that I need to work on myself? So that's, or like, do they have something that I desire to have? Is that why I'm being triggered right now? Like, there's so many different ways to being triggered, and like why it's actually a good thing to be triggered, because it's normally like a moment for you to realize that you can grow in that area. But if it's if it's like just not resonating with you whatsoever, not triggering you in a good way, then like that unfollow button was made for a reason.
Yeah, there's definitely been times where people trigger me and I go within myself and I'm like, why did they trigger me? And then there's other times where I feel like it's not necessary to try to always be looking for a reason why I'm triggered. It's like one of those things that I'm kind of balancing on of like maybe I just don't feel like listening to this person. Like maybe I just don't feel like following this person. Whereas like there's other times where I'm like, "Oh wow, like there is a really important lesson here for me to learn."
Totally. And if that's the case, then that's the case. If I mean, if we're talking about reflection, like that's like talking about reflections. And so what reflections are for the people listening, if you don't know this, it's basically something outside of your physical reality happening to you that reflects how you actually feel on the inside. I'll give you an example that I had more recently. So I when I spill things, it's a reflection for me. It's a reflection of self-love. And I've obviously asked for a mastery in self-worth, self-love, magnetism. And when you ask for these things, the universe is going to give you challenges or lessons, reflections to test you. And then you have to learn from those things. So, me, I went to the water, I go to the water store and I fill up my water jugs right here. And I had a bigger one at a 5 gallon one. And when I brought it home, it fell out of my trunk. And I was like, I know what I need to learn from this. Like there was an area in my life at that time where I was like, I knew that I was not doing what my higher self would have done. I was like, oh, this is definitely a reflection, but then I ignored it. I like wanted to ignore it because I was like, what, it's fine, like it's fine. And
Yeah.
then I put the water bottle on my like the pot that it's supposed to be put in. And I took my dog to the beach and I come back, I was gone for 2 hours, the entire 5 gallon water thing all over my house. My house is not big. So so literally like the entire house was flooded. I had to ask my neighbors to put my rug on their stairwell like leads to their house and to help me pull the rug out from under my bed. Like it was such a reflection. And the reason that it was a reflection that I'm saying that is because I was giving my attention to somebody else that at that time did not like deserve my attention. I was putting energy into somebody else other than myself. And so it was like a reflection of when bigger things like that happen that are inconvenient,
Mm.
I think I'm like, okay, how is this a reflection? Like, why is this a reflection? Why is this happening? What am I supposed to learn? And the thing with those is that it's really easy to sometimes get like, what's this mean? What's that mean? What's this mean? You know, and like overanalyze everything.
Yeah.
And so the reason I brought that up was because like you're like, okay, we can't
Yeah.
overanalyze all the people who trigger us because that would
I
just drive us
I
absolutely insane.
yeah. I definitely can get caught up in over analyzing.
Yes, is we all can, and we don't realize it until we're like really into it and we're like, oh, okay, I need to stop. Like this is it. I'm just going down the rabbit hole now.
You mentioned that last year when everything blew up, that it kind of seemed like a spiritual awakening. Like were there any moments in your life where you felt like you had a really profound moment of maybe like realization or connection or epiphany?
Yes. I mean, I feel like I've had a lot of them, not just that one.
Yeah.
Um, I've gone through a lot of trials and tribulations and traumas in my past, and I held on to those for a really long time and I didn't work through them. When my life was blowing up, like that was when I was doing the work. So
Mhm.
I started doing the work in like November or October. Yeah, October, November. And then December is when things just really got crazy. And then that was literally like me purging all of that negativity that I was holding in. And then when you ask for a change, when you ask for growth, you're like the universe is going to purge all the people that don't serve you. It's going to purge the place that doesn't serve you. It's going to, like, you might smell, like, there's all these different things that can happen when you're purging things that are no longer serving your highest divine alignment. And that was definitely like a huge awakening for me because at first, for the longest time, honestly, like I thought that when bad things would happen to me, that my life just sucked and that it is what it is. And that I'm always just like, it is what it is. That's what I would say. And I've always been a really positive person, despite that internal battle with myself. On the outside, I always was like doing my best to be happy and a light. And I didn't want to complain all the time about my circumstances.
Mhm.
There was a time that I did. And then I realized that it was really annoying and that nobody wanted to listen to me, which
Wow.
was also a reason that I suppressed my feelings. So to yeah, so to find like a community and a way to release those emotions and to release those stories was huge for me. Um, because I was made out to feel like my story didn't matter and that what I had been through is sad and nobody wants to hear your sob story. So that was like an awakening, was like, no, my story is important. And I've been through these things because I'm supposed to help hundreds, thousands, millions of
Mhm.
people go through similar things that I've been through in my past,
Yeah.
right? We are the best equipped to help people that we once were.
Mm, that's so true.
hmm And so when you start to talk about your story, when you start to share them, when you start to work through your shit, when you start to figure out ways to move through it and to purge and to heal, it really is such a incredible feeling. And I know that I finally have found my purpose, and that is to help others who have been through things that I've been through and to guide them by connecting to my intuition, by connecting to their higher self. And it's just been such a beautiful thing to like finally learn how to use my gifts in a way that's constructive that I can like be like, okay, this is what I'm doing for my career. Like, this
Mhm.
is the business I'm building and I'm going to kill it.
Yes, yes. What does it look like for clients to work with you?
So, I have a couple different things going on right now. I do one on one mentorship. So, what that is 4 one-on-one sessions with me per month. You get text access to me Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And then you also get access to any master classes or courses that I put out in the future. So, as long as you're mentoring with me that month, then you get access to my courses and stuff, which sometimes, like for instance, this I just put out a course that starts August 7th. It's called the Butterfly Effect. And it is going to be so, so good because people don't realize that the way that we talk to ourselves is so detrimental to the way that we look and the way that we feel about ourselves.
Mm,
And so let's say that you are really like you're just talking very negatively to yourself all day every day. 90% of our thoughts are the same every single day. So if we're just constantly in that negative thought pattern, we're not going to feel good. And those negative words are that are coming into our brain and our thought space every single day, like our body is going to be like try is going to protect our organs, what we need to function, the only way that it can, which is by putting a layer of fat around our body to protect our organs from the negativity that we're speaking. And so, what I do, or like the transformation here, is literally by changing the way that you think, changing your thought process, learning how to be self compassionate, learning how to love yourself, learning your worth, remembering who the fuck you are. All of those things, when you start to shift your mindset and the way that you think, your body, the way that you physically appear, is going to change. So, this is a program that is created to change your mind and your body. On top of that, I'm going to be intuitively channeling for you how the best way to work out is for you this week, like that week, because it's 4 weeks. So each week we'll get on a phone call and I'll figure out what is best for you that week to work out, how often you should work out, what you should be eating. And this isn't like a diet, like workout plan. Like, this isn't what that is. Like, I'm just going to tell you, you should work out 3 times a week this week, and you should be doing Pilates one day, yoga one day, and weight train the next, or some like whatever it is, because everyone's body is different. And that's what makes this program so unique is that I'm literally asking your higher self, what should you do to like look your best?
Yeah.
And as far as eating goes, same thing. There are so many healthy ways that you can eat, so many healthy, you know, work diet programs. Like, I hate using the word diet
Yeah.
because I just think that you need to figure out like the best way that fuels your body and then eat intuitively, which is what I personally do. And my before and after from the past 6 months of doing this work has been like, you can see it in everything around my body, my face, my smile, like the whole thing. Yeah, so I like intuitively channel for you like what is the best, how often you should have fish, how often you should eat a steak, how often you should have rice in your dinner, like literally everything. So that's a 4 week program. It begins August 7th. I'm very excited about it. Doors are already open. There's payment plans available if you need that, but you'll get that for free if you sign up for my mentorship, which mentorship is when your life really does shift and really changes because you're working with me in close proximity and we are quantum leaping your life to get it to whatever it is that you're desiring.
I love that so much. And
Thank
I
you.
love that you're bridging this gap between physical appearance and spirituality or like affirmations because I let's see, where do I start with this? When I was 12, my mom passed away. And when she passed away, I was home alone a lot. And I would like come home from school and eat a bunch of food and then go to sleep. And like, I kind of just started to gain a little bit of weight since then. And then, like, college, I gained a lot of weight. And it's like fluctuated, like a little more weight, a little less weight. And then I did this program, this fitness program, where I restricted my calories and I was working out like 5 times a week. And it was like, it was so hard. I could do it, but it was like, oh my God, I'm getting really irritated and all this
It's
stuff.
not sustainable.
Once I stopped it, I just started eating the same again. And then, like, I gained the weight back. And I like when that happened, I was like, there is such a huge gap missing because I am still the same person that I was when I started. Like, I'm thinking the same, I see myself the same, like, I feel like I'm addicted to food the same. So there's just this missing piece of like reprogramming how I see myself, reprogramming how I see food. And I'm so,
Mhm.
so, so grateful that you are bringing this into the world because it can truly change people's lives from the root of where it really needs to be changed.
Abso-freaking-lutely. I'm so happy that you resonate with it because, yeah, I couldn't agree more. And that is such a, like, that so many people have the same, like, story as you as far as, like, going and doing a diet plan and then going back to their old habits right
Yeah.
afterwards. Like that is literally the thing that happens. And that's why people are always like, oh, well, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. Yeah, it is. But you have to figure out your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And me being able to channel for you specifically is going to give that to you.
Yeah.
So I know it's going to be huge. I cannot
Yeah.
wait to have this group of people inside of this container to like help them and to watch them transform, not only, mentally, but physically. And yeah, but I totally cannot agree with you more. This gap needs to be bridged for sure.
What has been your most fulfilling client transformation that you got to witness?
Okay. So I have actually I started my business in like I started doing readings. It's been about 3 months.
Mhm.
So I have not, and I just started mentorship this month. So this is the first month that I've started mentorship, and I haven't had enough sessions to be like, I've transformed this person's life. That takes
Yeah.
time. However, I have had some really big moments in my one on one sessions with my clients that I have worked with that are like, it just something just clicks
Mhm.
for them. And they are like, oh, like, wow, like I am like this because of this. Or I now am not stuck anymore because I know the next step that I need to take. Or I know what's holding me back. Like, because that's what we do in my sessions. Like, I channel for you the energy that you are putting out into the world. So ultimately, like, not the ultimate truth. This is just the energy that you're putting out into the world currently. And then I go into I figure out what your self confidence is that you're putting out. I figure out if there's like what you are thinking in your head you need to do to become successful or to get whatever it is that you're desiring. It's really crazy the things that the things that I'm able to channel and the things that I'm able to pull out of their energy and pull out of from their higher self, and the way that I'm able to like guide them and give them the tools necessary to move forward in their life and stop feeling stuck, stop feeling sorry for themselves, stop feeling like the victim, because nobody wants to feel like that forever. Everyone is trying to feel a sense of belonging and purpose in this world, and just like I was, and through this work is how I am able to help people figure out their sense of belonging and their purpose and remind them of who the fuck they are. That is like my
Yeah.
favorite thing to do. And I cannot wait because I have mentorship students now and we're just getting started and they're already just brains are just turning, and they're like ready to go. They're like, I'm so excited about this and I'm so excited to like transform their lives because my life has transformed. Like my life, and I personally, of course, look so much different than I did 6 months ago through this work. And so the fact that I get to teach it and help others through it is just it's going to be so rewarding, like to feel that I have helped somebody else in that capacity the same way that my mentor and coach has helped me. It's just helping people, serving people is what my purpose is on earth. What do you desire? Like what do you want your life to look like?
This summer, I'm traveling to Miami and Colorado, and I'm going to podcast meetups, like these big summits and events. So
That's
I'm going to be
amazing.
networking with a lot of people and recording podcasts in Miami, Colorado. I'm also going to Oregon for a wedding, which I plan on doing a couple podcasts there as well. And come like fall, September, October, I really intend to find a studio and get a whole physical in-person studio set up. And honestly, I might even fully transition to in-person only podcasts.
I love that. That's amazing. I think it definitely makes like a change, um when you are in that same room as that
Yeah.
person. It's just so it's such a different dynamic. It's amazing. But that's amazing that you're gonna go and, you're definitely gonna make that happen for sure. That's definitely
Yeah.
gonna happen for you. You're already like, it's gonna happen
Yeah.
and you're taking the steps necessary to like make that happen. Where can my people find you on Instagram?
So I can be found on Instagram at Perspective Switch Podcast. I am also on YouTube with the same handle, TikTok, and Facebook.
Yeah, and then same for me. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Kaela period Cakes, Kayla Cakes. And then you can find me on YouTube. It's just my first and last name. And then Facebook, also first and last name. And it'll be linked in the show notes below.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And then if you guys also linked in the show notes, butterfly effect and mentorship application.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, it was such a pleasure.